Is a sprinkler system for a trampoline, and this right here we ordered off of Amazon. It should be about 30 foot around. It should cover the whole diameter of the trampoline. And what we have here is with it is zip ties. And what I'm understanding from what I've seen is whenever you want to take and hook up your garden hose, this is your on and off valve. You take and unscrew this right here. Take this right here, little thing out the end. You will then, after you get your hose connected around the trampoline the way you want it, you will take and insert your garden hose right here and then screw that down tight to where it does not leak. And also, whenever you're turning this on, to keep from blowing this hose, what you want to do is not pull your zip ties. When you put these zip ties on, do not shrink them down real tight. Because when you shrink them down real tight, it's going to cause this hose to explode. And then this right here is not very high. It's like 15 bucks off Amazon. It's not very high, but then you're going to have to repair the hole. But this right here, I'm going to show right now in this introduction part on the things you need to know. And here in a moment, we're going to do the actual step-by-step how to hook up this up to your trampoline. Okay, so right now we know the steps on how to do it. This is how your garden hose connects. You're probably not going to need this little piece here, and this is your on and off valve. Whenever you turn this on and off valve on, turn it on part of the way so that you do not blow up this hose where the pressure does not do too much pressure, because you don't want an exploded hose. And also, these things have little bitty, you can't see them. What happens is it has little bitty holes in it, and if you want to, whenever you're positioning this right here onto your trampoline, if you kind of turn them to where they're going to be spraying onward onto the trampoline, then you're going to get more sprinkles. So if you pay attention to that whenever you're putting your zip ties on, then that's what's going to happen. And since you can't tighten them down too tight, I do not know how well they're going to stay in position, but we're going to find out here in a moment. All right, that's all for now, and we'll be right back in just a moment. Hey everybody, I am standing on the ladder. This is a 10-foot ladder, and which of course, if you wanted to do this standing up with using your balance at the bottom of the trampoline, you can do that, but I found it rather shaky, so I decided I would get on the ladder and go all the way around. And what I done was I took and barely hooked these zip ties on. Can you see the zip tie right there? All this thing I've done is I clicked it 2 times so that it's going to be really loose. Okay, ideally, while I was already up here on the ladder, I could have took and unraveled the hose and got the rear end of the hose first, where I would have had the very end, and I could have looped it around after I was doing the zip ties. But if you see, I have zip ties. If you see right here, I have one about 10 inches from the post, 6, 7, 8, 10 inches from the post. I have one right here in the center, and then I have the other one right there about 6 inches from the post. And I've done that all the way around the trampoline. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take and weave the hose through there. I'm going to pause for a break for right now on this here until I get positioned, and then I'll be right back whenever I take and decide to run the hose through there. Be back in just one moment. Okay, this is what I've done here. I took the hose and I run the valve in. I run it through this first clipping because this is going to be my post that I'm going to attach my garden hose to. Then the first thing I've done is I'm on the inside the trampoline. And if you see the end of the hose, you cannot see the perforated hose, but the holes are right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them face downward toward me by paying attention to how I run them through the loops. You see right here, I'm running this right here through the loop. I think I'm running it through this loop, and then here in just a minute I'll show you it completed. Be right back. Last final part. This is the last final part. If you see, I've done weaved. Show around the thing, Levi. Stop, sorry. You see, if I done weaved in all the way around the loop, all the way to the first pole where my garden hose is going to be. Okay, right here we have slack. And all thing you have to do is weave this right here through the hose. Stop, Sawyer. See, weave this right here through. And what I'm doing is, when I'm weaving it through, I'm making sure my sprinkler hose are facing the inside of the trampoline. That's why you leave these right here, little bitty zip ties, really loose. Until we get down here to the very end. When I get down here to the very end, then I'm going to probably have to zip tie that one up tight. But the only thing I done was, when I was zip tying these zip ties up, was I was leaving a big gap. I'll make sure I went through the tough part at the top, about 1/4 of an inch from the top on that hole. And I'm keeping my hose, so I can see my hose right here. The hose are right there. I'm keeping them facing the bottom of the trampoline. And here in a minute, we're going to see the final results. But let's see here. Sorry, stop bouncing, please. And then, I'm not sure if this is going to make it completely to the end. I think it's going to be really, really, really close. And I think it is going to do it, because I got about 1 foot of slack on the other end. But I think it's going to be close enough. All right, it's going to be really perfect right there. It's going to be perfect right there. It fit right into my last zip tie right there. And what I'm going to do is instead of clamping it off on this rubber part, I'm going to clamp it off on the very end where it's already crimped. You see right there where it's already crimped? I want to do it right there. So now that's going to give me enough of a loop to run it down by the pole. And that's going to be the whole thing. See, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and run me a little bit of slack here where I can take and go all the way to the pole. Right there. All right, cut the tape. Cut. Okay, this is the last final step. You see the perforated holes right here. They're pointing down. I run the hose off that down in between here, and I took a bungee cord and I wrapped around this eye and wrapped around this loop. So whenever I get done with my garden hose, instead of zip tying it up completely, that way I can take and come over here and I can undo my bungee cord and I can disconnect my garden hose and I can water my plants and flowers and everything like that there, instead of having to break and cut zip ties every time you turn around. All thing I gotta do is undo my strap, which I have it firm around the garden hose, but I do not have it firm around the hose that's gonna be feeding the water. All I have is real loose right here. See how loose it is? It's not tight at all. And the only thing that's doing is it's holding pressure, keeping the hose from pulling the weight on it. So this right here is gonna be the next step is going to be showing you turning it on. I'll be right back. Okay. All right, folks, we're fixing to turn the valve on. Got the boys in there jumping around. Let's see, I'm going to barely turn this on, get a little bit of pressure.
Hey, Levi, stop it!
Well, you got to tighten it down a little bit.
Hey, Levi, stop it! You're making me bounce around.